to the Fiasco Sports NBA season previews. I'm Matt Sampson. Joining me once again, Mark Halliday. Thanks for coming in, man. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder to get to, but first, quick shout out, Sporties at the Arca. They've been nice enough to let us come in and shoot in the morning, so thank you very much for that, guys. Check out their Facebook in the link in the description below. Oklahoma City Thunder, Mark. I've got them ranked second in the entire league. What do you think about that?
That's pretty accurate. Second last year, one game off 60 wins, 59 and 23, and they lost to the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals 4-2.
Yeah, well, we saw that the Thunder last year just come out and did exactly what we expected them to do, really, wasn't it? I mean, in the West, there's those two teams that were head and shoulders above everyone else, and it was a bit of a dogfight towards the end as who was going to get that top seed, but in the end it probably didn't really matter. The Spurs were rolling through everyone, weren't they, by the time the Thunder got there?
Yeah, once the Spurs got over the Mavericks, it was clear sailing from there, basically.
Yeah, there was sort of weird, that little bump with the Mavs going to 7 games, but we should probably stop talking about the Spurs so much and get back to the Thunder. Looking back at what they did last season, they went 59-23, like you said. Top 5 offense in the league, 12th in defense, which probably, that's probably why they didn't get over the Spurs in the end, wasn't it? They don't have that elite defense just yet, do they?
No, they got Ibaka, who was injured for those first 2 games of the Western Conference Finals, and even when he came back, it wasn't much of a difference because the Spurs were just playing ridiculous. And
they were rolling through everyone by then. They got over that small hurdle against the Mavs, like we said, and then just smashed everyone. But their strength I've put down there, which is maybe a bit of an exaggeration, or is it an exaggeration or an understatement that their strength was KD the MVP?
I don't know, maybe it could be both.
Yeah, I think it seems almost too obvious to say that having the best player in the world is the reason why your team was really good, or second best, arguably. But last year he was the best player in the league. He won the MVP, he put them on their shoulders when Westbrook was out especially, and just kept them up in the race.
He had that ridiculous January where he averaged 32 or 35 points per game, and then had a number of games where he scored 25.
Yeah, he broke or tied Michael Jordan's streak and then just sat out the last game because he didn't care. And when you're that good that you could just not care about breaking Michael Jordan's records, then your team's probably set for the season, isn't it? But that weakness we've got down there was the secondary wing scorers, isn't it? They had KD, but then not much else.
Yeah, they had who else?
Jeremy Lamb.
They had Jeremy Lamb. They had Caron Butler. They had Thabo Sefolosha off the bench, and they were basically just parking themselves in the corner, waiting for the kick out from Westbrook or Durant. And
I think it was Jalen Rose that said that Jeremy Lamb has the best job in the NBA, and even he, at 40 years old, could sit in the corner and drain 3 threes a game because they're so wide open.
Even me and you could do that. Yeah,
well, I don't know if I could hit them, but I could definitely stand there and be open. Those guys don't exactly spark the offense as much and just scream offensive threat, do they? They need a guy that can punch that offense and keep it going when Westbrook's off or injured, and KD's on the bench, and they just didn't have that last season, did they?
No, it doesn't look like they're going to have it this season either. They brought in Anthony Morrow, who's a great 3-point shooter, but not as great on defense as Sefolosha was, and Sebastian Telfair, who will play some backup minutes, but definitely not that guy who can carry that second unit.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Sebastian Telfair back in the league, though, because he's a guy that came in with such big hype around him and obviously didn't pan out to be the all-star man he thought he would be, but he's a guy that you like to see in the league and see doing well, sort of a Sean Livingston situation, in that, you want to see him in the league, you want to see him doing well. Plus, it also means Derek Fisher's not on the court anymore, which is always going to be a bonus for the Thunder, who, Fisher's was a great player. He's got lots of rings, but he probably was pushing it a bit too far by the end there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think his time was up well and truly before the last season.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stir you up as a Spurs fan about the 0.4.
0.4. I don't like it. Let's move on.
But they also brought in a couple of interesting rookies because they pretty much cloned some of their players, didn't they, and drafted them.
Yeah, Mitch McGarry is basically Nick Collison again. Nick Collison's, he's getting older and he's getting slower. He's still productive, but he's not going to be in the league forever, and McGarry fills that role perfectly.
Yeah, it's a pretty intimidating front court trio they have in McGarry, if he can come in and stay healthy, he had some back issues in college. Collison, we know, Nick Collision, who just he will run into a brick wall for this team, and then Stone Cold Steven Adams.
Yes.
That's three guys that are pretty much exactly the same and in a terrifying way.
Yeah, and then you got Kendrick Perkins, who's terrifying in his own way.
Yeah, I think he's terrifying when you watch him shoot, because you don't want to watch that release he's got on his jump shot, and then he has that scowl, and he's just a big guy. He's been angry since Blake dunked on him. Been angry since he left the Celtics, really. But yeah, that front court is really the strength that they have. Moving on though, I want to look at the 5 players that will play the bulk of the minutes, which is pretty obvious. A couple. I mean, they've got that guy Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Won the MVP last season, which is, you know, there's been a few of them handed out over the years, but good on him. Also, Russell Westbrook, you know, NBA fashion icon, but also NBA superstar.
Yes, and I like Russell Westbrook because he's explosive and he's dynamic, and he provides a lot of energy for that team. And when he gets on a roll, especially when they're playing at home, it's like another feeling, because he just gets the crowd into it. He gets all his teammates into the game.
That pull-up jump shot he has, where he can take a couple of dribbles and then stop on a dime and raise up, and when that's going, it's just unstoppable, isn't he? That athleticism he has is just unbelievable. But I, for one, am a massive Russell Westbrook fan, because I know a lot of people heap on him for shooting too much, but who else is going to shoot on this roster? If it's not Kevin Durant, who's going to take that second shot?
It has to be Westbrook. It can't be anybody else. I mean, Ibaka's good in and around the ring, but he's not. Westbrook's the guy who's going to command more attention. Yeah,
they've got some lots of complementary scorers in this starting 5, and a offensive black hole. Not in the way that he takes all the shots in Kendrick Perkins, in that if you throw the ball into him, you never know where it's going to go, if it's going to get sucked into a different dimension and then just end up on the other end of the court.
Might try one of those dunks again and just like whiff on it.
Yeah. But Reggie Jackson is an exciting player. He can have explosive games, but not always. Like you said, Ibaka's great around the hoop, can step out a little bit, but he's not going to command the offense, is he? So keep shooting, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Keep going, keep gunning. I love gunners. I've said that about 1,000 times now. I want to see Russell Westbrook take 40 shots a game.
40?
Yep, 40 shots a game.
So Westbrook takes 40 shots a game, Durant takes the other 40, and no one else shoots.
No, I'm fine with that. It'd be like a 2K game. You know, you play those guys you play against 2K and only ever use 2 players.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that in real life. And it might not work, but it may be genius.
It's kind of what Scott Brooks does already.
Yeah, well, does Scott Brooks coach?
I don't know. I've always heard his coaching style referred to as a clogged toilet. So
I haven't heard that one, but I think it's a pretty apt description. Yeah, no, but we've talked about Russell Westbrook. Now we need to talk about the MVP a little bit more. Kevin Durant, obviously, great season last year. MVP, All-NBA first team, goes hand in hand pretty much. 32 points a game, incredible. Led the league in scoring again. 7.4 boards, which I think was a career high. So he's crashing the glass pretty well. Yep. 5.5 assists, which was a career high. So he's also distributing the ball, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's a good passer. He's got the height for it. He's got the height advantage over a lot of other small forwards.
Is he 7 foot tall?
Oh, who knows in the NBA? They're all lying about their height.
Yeah, I think he's the only player I've heard that's lied the other way. Someone asked him if he was 7 foot tall, and he was like, "Don't call me 7 foot tall," because I think he hates everyone referring him to as the 7 foot small forward with guard-like handles, etc. But I don't know. I think he's about 6'10" still.
He's
but like you said,
6'10".
Anyway, I distracted you there. He's got that height to pass over guys and shoot over guys. He also led the league in PER, so he's a terrifically efficient scorer as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's mainly coming on jump shots as well. He does attack the ring, but he doesn't do it excessively, like perhaps Westbrook does. And jump shooting, and his percentage from mid-range and from 3 is through the roof.
Yeah, well, it's something that, you know, it's overlooked, because to score around the basket and bully your way in, like someone like Westbrook and LeBron James, they're really good at getting to the cup and getting those easier baskets, because it is closer. I don't care what you say, it is easier to score closer to the ring. There's obviously a talent to it. I'm not saying that it's way simpler to just drive and just put it in, but to be such a dead-eyed jump shooter is just such an underrated talent for mine. And, you know, I think we saw 2 60-point games last season. Kevin Durant surely has a 60-plus game in him.
I think he's got a couple in him this season.
A couple.
A couple. I'm going to say a couple.
Okay, there were a couple 60-point games.
I'm going to say
70? 80?
I don't know about 80. I think Kevin Durant's a bit too nice to go for records.
Yeah.
I think he's more focused on winning a championship.
I mean, he said KD's not nice anymore, but I think the biggest thing is the record won't matter to him.
No, not at all.
It's not that he's too passive to do it. It's just that he just does not give a damn.
He wants that championship. Yeah,
I think after he wins a ring, maybe we saw that with LeBron, that he had those sort of angry, I call them the angry years, where after he failed a couple of times and he tried to embrace the villain aspect and it didn't quite work out. After the 2 rings, he did like the LeBron James happy tour of the NBA.
Yeah.
He was hugging everyone before games and high-fiving fans and stuff. Maybe after KD wins a ring or 2, we'll see him just going for 50 points a game. But, moving on, we've got the Believe the Hypothetical question here. This is another favourite of mine. I put a lot of thought into this, which is probably not something I should have been doing, but shout out to Tom and Benyon from Believe the Hype. Check out all the info on the screen right now. Follow them. The podcast is really worth a listen to. I love it. It's great. But their prediction is that Russell Westbrook's big new fashion statement for the NBA season is to wear WNBA jerseys.
I don't think he can do much worse than what he's already wearing, to be honest.
Yeah, well, see, I wanted to take this a step further. See, I've put a lot of thought in this, like I said.
That's too much.
Do you remember back in the early 2000s, the Opals uniforms they used to wear?
Oh.
Like the leotard-like, the unitard jumpsuits. I want to see...
They were awful.
The new, not just Russell Westbrook, but we're bringing it in as an NBA thing. We've seen sleeve jerseys, we've seen colour jerseys, colour sleeve jerseys, every sort of mismatch of just weird top that made no sense whatsoever, nicknames on the back. Now we're going to get NBA leotards. What do you think?
I just don't think that would work. I think it would be... I'm too much of a traditionalist. I don't like the sleeve jerseys. I hate the sleeve jerseys. I hate anything that's not a singlet.
But you have to admit, Dwight Howard would love it though.
Yeah,
he's wearing a singlet so tight already. Why not have the shorts so tight off and show off those quads and everything as well? Dwight Howard, you probably don't want to see some of the older guys in the league that are getting on a little bit, and
perhaps not.
Maybe some, Kendrick Perkins probably isn't going to really appreciate.
It's probably going to make him more angry.
But yeah, if there's anyone that can pull off a leotard, it's Dwight Howard or it's Russell Westbrook. He's super athletic, he's super ripped. If the Big Show from WWE can pull off wearing essentially a leotard, I'm sure that Russell Westbrook can do it.
If that's the standard you're gonna take, fine, we'll run with it.
I told you, I put way too much thought into this.
This is kind of creepy now.
Yeah, I'm sorry to creep you out there, but let's get back on track a little bit.
Yeah, let's make basketball.
Less leotard talk, more basketball talk. 30 seconds on the clock. What's your prediction for the Thunder this year?
I think they'll go first in the West.
Okay.
And then they'll probably face off against the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. And in 7 games, I'm going to say they're going to lose in the Western Conference Finals.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sort of of a similar mind to you. I mean, I've got the Thunder ranked second, which, if you're a rocket scientist, you can probably work out by now. That means I have the Spurs ranked number 1. But I did that, I'll be honest, just out of fear. Out of complete fear of being wrong again in writing off the Spurs and being like, okay, that's it, finally they're done. And probably, you're right, this will be the year that it comes back to bite me and they won't finish top of the league. But I have the Thunder finishing second, making the Western Conference Finals, but going to the NBA Finals. I think this can be the year. KD improved so much last year. Westbrook's going to be healthy. Ibaka's been playing for Spain in the off-season. He was really great last year. If he's healthy in the playoffs, I'm sorry, Mark, but your Spurs are going to go down in the Western Conference Finals.
If they're going to do it, I think it has to be this year because the East is a little bit broken up. They're not set at the moment. There's not a lot of chemistry within those teams.
This is the year to win.
If they can get over the Spurs, then I think that they can go all the way.
Yeah, and then we can see leotards and Kevin Durant scoring 60 points a game.
I'll go with the 60 points a game. I'm not sold on the leotards.
2-2s? Alright, anyway. I think I've lost you there. We've got to wrap it up there. Once again, I've been Matt Sampson. This has been Mark Halliday. Not a fan of tutus and leotards, but I am. Thanks for joining us on Fiasco Sports NBA season previews. Once again, check out the description for all the links to the Sporties at Arkabar and the Believe the Hype guys. We really thank them for helping us out with these. We'll see you next time.